god of the shining light. I'll be breaking her ability kit to its entirety, all the bits, tricks, and things that make her tick. Amaterasu is a part of the warrior class in Smite, so she deals physical damage, and being a part of that class giving her passive cooldown reduction, maxing out at 10% at 20th level.
I will illuminate this battlefield, just as I shine in the heavens.
So with that, I think we'll jump right into her passive. Amaterasu's passive is called Illuminating Strike. After auto-attacking an enemy 3 times, that target gains an aura around them, causing every enemy in that aura around the weakened enemy to take increased damage from all sources. Enemies take 10% increased damage, and the aura lasts for 5 seconds, and you can have a maximum of 3 auras at once. This passive can stack with other exposed enemies, but oftentimes it is not worth to switch targets due to its short range of only 30 units. Your enemies won't stay together for long enough to gain much benefit from getting in on 2 different enemies. It is an extremely nice passive for focusing down a specific target and forcing other enemies away, as they don't want to be in the aura themselves, allowing you to burn down that singular enemy quicker.
Stand together!
Now on to Amaterasu's first ability, which is called Divine Presence. When she uses this ability, she heals herself, as well as place a permanent aura around her, buffing herself and other players that are close to her, either giving them increased move speed or increased power, switching between the two of them as she presses the ability. The healing maxes out at 42 health per tick over 4 seconds, for a max heal of 168 health. The Benevolence, or White Aura, provides move speed, maxing out at 21% move speed, and the Valor Aura, or Red Aura, provides increased power, maxing out at 30 bonus power. This ability is one of her most important abilities, what provides Amaterasu's pace throughout the entire game. Are you simply farming? Stay in White Aura to help you move around the map quickly. Are you going into a fight? Switch to Red Stance for the increased power. You need to quickly flee from the fight? Switch again to Speed Stance, and start running away while healing yourself.
Gaze into the mirror!
Amaterasu's second ability is called Heavenly Reflection. She begins to charge a mirror for 5 seconds. While charging, she takes decreased damage. She can choose to reactivate the ability, or at the end of those 5 seconds, she will fire the mirror in a straight line in front of Amaterasu, damaging anything in its path. The mirror can only be charged by either doing damage to enemies or taking damage from enemies, and will deal extra damage when fully charged up to twice the base damage of the ability. The maximum decreased damage while charging is 15% damage mitigation. The normal mirror damage does a max of 210 base damage plus 60% of your physical power, and a fully charged mirror does a max of 420 base damage plus 60% of your physical power. When you plan to enter a fight with this ability, it should be pressed every time as you enter the fight, or before your other abilities, as it allows you to be tankier. With the damage mitigation, it'll be easier to stay in the fight for longer, allowing you to charge the mirror quickly and do a big burst of damage when the mirror is done charging. You don't typically want to ever fire this ability early unless you know you have to leave the fight, or your enemy is too far, or just want to simply poke them from a distance.
Green!
Amaterasu's third ability is called Glorious Charge. She quickly takes a half second to charge up a dash forward in a straight line that goes to your minions and stops on the first enemy god hit, but still silences everything that would be in her path, including enemies that may be behind the enemy god that Amaterasu stopped at. Silence lasting for 1 second, and the max damage of this ability being 300 base damage plus 60% of your physical power. This ability is incredibly nice for closing space, and it is best used after an enemy uses their dash to chase after them. If an enemy has a channeled dash, it then stops their dash as it silences them as well.
Heavenly!
Amaterasu's fourth and final ability is her ultimate. It is called Dazzling Offensive. Amaterasu becomes CC immune and lasts for 4 seconds, as she makes 3 massive sweeps that cover a large area on the ground. each consecutive on a enemy, doing more than the last. The first swipe on a target simply doing damage, the second swipe on the same target doing 20% more base damage, slowing the target, the third swipe on the same target doing 40% more base damage, and stunning the target hit. A max damage per strike is 260 base damage plus 50% of your physical power. If she hit all three swipes on the same target, the total max damage of all three swipes is 936 base damage plus 150% of your physical power. The max slow is 2 seconds, and the max stun of this ability is also 2 seconds. This is a great engage ability, as it makes it incredibly hard to hit you as you are making your massive sweeps, as you hop around, changing your speed as you are swiping, and has great setup allowing you to do anything you want for those 2 seconds while your enemy is stunned, getting free damage off as you auto attack.
I shine the brightest.
That was Amaterasu's entire kit. So now I'll get into useful tips to help you excel at Amaterasu, as well as how you should be playing Amaterasu in general to maximize her usefulness.
I bring the light, and I can take it away.
Amaterasu's strongest point is mid to late game, where she has all of her abilities and enough items to pose a real threat, as she scales much better into the late game, as proccing auto attack items can be extremely strong in the late game. Being able to single out a specific enemy, doing massive damage to them with your ultimate and your passive, making them take more damage while taking less overall damage with your second ability, which has damage mitigation, is the best damage reduction in the game, as it's uncounterable.
My radiance covers this land.
Amaterasu is an auto attack based warrior with low starting base damage on your abilities, so Amaterasu won't do much damage in the early parts of the game, but as it goes later, her abilities scale hard into the late game, so prioritizing staying alive and farming through the laning phase, you want to level your second ability, as it provides the most damage from an early level with the mere charging mechanics, but don't expect to win lane. But you may not need to win lane or win laning phase to have a large impact on the game, as your strong point is late game when you start entering team fights.
Any amount of light can repel the darkness.
Amaterasu wants to single out one target and chase them down to the high heavens, making them take increased damage from all sources and buffing your allies around you that's also trying to kill the same target that you're trying to kill, either giving them movement speed to chase them down or power to do more damage. Amaterasu's ultimate backs up this playstyle by doing more damage and more utility if you hit all the swipes on a singular enemy god.
The sun is rising.
To explain what an auto attack cancel is, when auto attacking, there are specific phases to an auto attack. Amaterasu has an auto attack progression chain. On most of your auto attacks has a normal action phase where the damage comes out from the character and a short recovery phase to prepare for the next auto attack. Specifically, Amaterasu's is 1 half 1 swing time chain. Auto attack canceling is beneficial to Amaterasu's kit, as it provides a quicker way to chain your auto attacks with your abilities, but in the process you may accidentally void out an auto attack that might have been still in its action phase before the damage even comes out. So, you have to be very careful to auto attack correctly. The best time to auto attack cancel is after your full chain of your 3 autos, as after her third auto specifically, she has a long recovery phase before the auto progression chain restarts, but your abilities to do that is on her 4. As you engage with your ultimate, you may want to at least have your passive for all 3 swipes, giving you even more damage on your ultimate than that 900 I mentioned before.
The battlefield is where I really shine.
So, to look at what a full rotation of your abilities can look like is this. 2, 1 into power stance, then passive, and continuing just auto-attacking. If you instead choose to engage with your ultimate, the rotation would rather look like this, and looking for a longer fight, making more use of your damage mitigation, is 1 into power stance, then activate your passive on an enemy. 4, 2, and then continue auto attack. Or, if you want to do a quick burst of damage, all in 1, since your ultimate charges your mirror very quickly, but less use of your damage mitigation, you can 1 into power stance. 2, 4, at the end of the stun, press your 2 again for the mirror damage, and then continue auto attack. Or back out, saving your 3 as needed to either chase, or finish off, or flee from the target.
My warriors will rise above the rest.
Amaterasu is a strong late game god, with a lot to learn and understand. If you want to bathe in the morning sun, choose to learn Amaterasu. Pray for sunny days above all else. May you illuminate the battlefield with your splendor, so you may take your rightful place among the gods, and become the best god you